taken a couple of weeks, folks, but we're back and let's go. Let's rock this joint. This is the Sports Senseis Unleashed. I am one half thereof. And after a short absence, I welcome back my sensei brother, Drew Willingham, to the program. How are you, my friend? Great to see you and great to have you back.
Thank you, brother. Doing much better than I was a few weeks ago. I tell you what, Snowman, as someone who's battled their own health issues, I was talking with a friend about this the other day. And the closest thing, we see documentaries, we see people talk about how the effects of like being drugged, like being roofied was. Like you're just like you're fine, and then you just go from 100 to 0 like that. That's literally how it happened.
Yeah.
The scariest thing was it happened during a broadcast. And you can attest to this, Cole Johnson, others that run and produce videos. It's one thing to be a part of something like this where, we come with everything and we sit here and we talk. Okay. There's not a lot of prep that has to be done as far as visual wise, AV wise. When you watch the in or out sports debate, it is literally like, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn, it is like a work of art. There's a lot of work that I put into it. There's a lot of graphics and stuff that I put into it to make it special. So that way, after every few minutes, every few seconds, you're seeing something different to where it keeps you. I mean, you've been on the show, you know what it's about. When I think about what I do full time, where I've been in the past, what my body's endured, because I just put a video out last night. I don't know if you watched it yet, but I gave you praise because, and I want to say it now while we're live here back on our show. Snowman, I love you. Like your 15-minute, what you did for me that Taco Tuesday when you learned. And you said all those nice things and all the heartfelt stuff. I felt it, man. And that was honestly one of the things that motivated me towards one, I lost 14 pounds since the event. So that's one. Two, just staying on task and being motivated. And like I told you, like I'm taking a break from self video production stuff for a while because health is one, but this is one of the things that I know that can help rehabilitate me to where I was before, because I'm still a young guy. I'm not out of the woods yet. Don't take me wrong. I know I look good. I got great genes. Okay. But don't let that fool you. I'm going to take a nap after this, like a grandpa, like the grandpa shirt I'm wearing for the show today. Okay. Mr. Rogers is in the house with this man, Snowman, bringing the heat. But guys, honestly, before we get back to sports, because that's what I've been dying to talk about. Okay. I want to give a shout out to the Fanatic Feedback Zone as well for like the kind words that you guys had on that day that Snowman revealed the news, as well as to those of you a part of the Feedback Zone, Ryan McCarthy being one of them that I can at least say who regularly watches our show in the Snowman Multimedia Programming, who's also part of your stuff as well, who sent me some Cash App stuff, and some other people did as well. And it was no direction given on my end. It was donated on their own behalf, and I appreciate that. I love you guys for that. But if it wasn't for the people like Snowman that were sticking with me throughout this process, giving me some hope to come back to keep building to, like if this was 30 years later, if I was in my 60s, I would not be back in 3 weeks. Okay, I would tell you that. I would not even be here to sit here and talk with you, but I'm just grateful to be here still, because I don't like doctors. I don't like medical stuff. I don't like going, and I almost didn't go. And who's to say what could have happened after that? But the powers of medicine, the powers of technology, I'm here. So blood clots are no joke. Don't play around with them. Snowman, you know about it as well. We've discussed it. The biggest thing I'm looking forward to, though, is being back here on the air because we've got some LeBron hatred coming. Some XFL, and I've been dying to talk about it with my man Snowman, so let's get into it.
Well, considering what happened last night and considering wise El Jefe, let's have let's let's have some fun, shall we?
Ooh.
This
Okay.
Bronze Session Confession is brought to you by Bron Joy Juice. Bron Joy Juice, the ultimate joy juice of bronzesexuals worldwide. Made with 100% organic seal milk.
On your mark, get set. What? I haven't done anything yet.
Cole Johnson's a genius.
Well, we know that. On your mark, get set, and go.
In a world where partial greatness is celebrated and total greatness is shunned, there stands to be a figure on the lips of those who love him and those who hate him. The inane comparisons to Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant continue and has existed since 2003. There is no end in sight, for the battle between those who unconditionally love and unconditionally hate him wages on. These are their stories. Welcome to the Bronzesexual Confessions.
I have a question, bronzesexuals. With all the momentum you had from Tuesday night, stealing game 1 in a game that was perfectly winnable for the Warriors, and you know it, how's it feel to get your ass buried by 27 points in
Well,
game 2?
Snowman, I'll tell you this. Klay Thompson found his shot again for game 2, which he had
Boy,
been
you know it.
absent from 3 from game 6 and 7 in the last series and then game 1 of this series. So with that being said, congratulations to Klay Thompson for finding your mother-fathering shot back.
Oh, yeah.
That's one. Steph Curry is definitely a legend and the greatest three-point shooter of all time. Okay,
Steph
so
is just him. Okay.
and
Let's
I will
just use
say,
the common term. Steph is him. All
yes,
right. I don't care when anybody else says Stephen Curry is him.
I'm not a fan of that. I'm not even gonna get into that part. But what I'll say is this. Okay, what I'll say is this. When it comes to Steph Curry, greatest three-point shooter of all time, and as much hatred as we throw on LeBron as sports senseis, okay, as much hatred as we throw on LeBron, watching him and Steph go back and forth has been special over the course of the past decade. And when LeBron does retire, as much of this we hate the whole Yo Kang stuff, and we give all so much hell about it. Okay, when you think about it all, like they are one of the, like LeBron is a top 10 player. He is, as much as you don't want to give him love, he is a top 10 player. I made Snowman go off the rails in our return episode to the Sports Senseis, and we're just
you know what's bad? You say it the exact way Cole says it every
watching
That's
the show.
Why I'm falling out laughing because of the way you say
watching the show as much as I have, being a super fan, and then of course us doing the Sensei has been exposed to it a lot. Cole is awesome. That's why when you played that first slide, I was like, this is great. I lost it myself during just the slide.
Wait,
but
wait. Look at this. But it's Fry. Oh, screw it. We're gonna get one of these. We're off the rails already, folks. We are off the rails.
Laughter is the best way of healing. So that's
wait. Here you go. Cole chimes in. I'll be glad when number 6 of the Lakers retire. I just don't want to hear about his ass anymore. It's just like
hey, I got the retiring shirt on already. I will donate it to you, LeBron. You can have it.
I got it. And then Sick coming all the way from Norway. This Bronzesexual Confession is brought to you by Bumleg Orthopedics. The only thing keeping Anthony Davis, Daddy Bumleg Davis, in one piece. Bumleg Orthopedics. Oh, my leg. Oh, my leg. Oh, my leg. And we got, and Cole's voice says, welcome back, Drew. Man, we are so excited to have you back. Where's that? Here it is. This is the one I want to focus on because this made me crack up when I first saw it. Okay. Y'all know Wise El Jefe hangs with us Thursdays and Fridays in the morning. Sometimes he pops in the chat depending his schedule, and he's always the one that says it is not Wednesday. And that took off. That's like one of the things, one of the colloquialisms of the morning show that just took off. And then we see this from Ryan. He's like, "But it's Friday." Screw it. We're gonna get one of these every day until the series concludes. Yes, you're gonna get one of these every other day. Good Lord.
Woo,
If
I
there's
just
anything I love doing with you, Drew, besides the show, it's laughing, because
absolutely.
we'll throw something out there and both of us will leave our seat.
They
Okay.
call me the king of the one-liners, bro. Like they do out here in these streets, and it's been a while since I've been able to say that on the air too.
And you know what's bad? You know what's bad? One of the first times you had me crack it up since we started doing this show, when I would run a commercial pack, and then you just came back one day, and you said, "Welcome to the show that has more commercials than a TNT drama."
Oh, the show ain't over yet, Snowman. You haven't graced us with the commercial breaks yet. It
Not
is
yet.
coming.
But
I've got a
I
lot
know.
built up in the tank. It has been a hell of an experience.
I bet it
taking
was.
time off.
I bet it was.
When
And
you think
you know what? With guys like us, when you're in production and you just go, and then you're finally forced, as I was last year and you this year, to take some time off, you're laying in bed and you're looking at the ceiling going, "What the hell am I doing here?"
Yep. That's literally what I was about to say. And you as everyone that I know can attest to that. Like,
Yes, I can.
Out of everyone that I've discussed the situation with, I mean, I've discussed it with people who've had strokes and I've learned of some more heart problems that were in my family that I didn't even know leading into this.
Yeah.
It's been a very eye-opening experience just talking about it with my family and finding out that, I mean, this was kind of inevitable. It's a little soon, but when I was in my 20s, I lived a fast life, not gonna lie. In the top corner up there, you can't really see it all that well right now. There's a picture of me playing a guitar in a band. Had some fast days there.
Yeah.
I've worked some strenuous jobs. And then, working a full-time job, and you compare all that with still chasing a dream. And then going into it hard. I was going into it as hard as Snowman, and Snowman's just going hard into the dream without the full-time, stuff on top of it. Now, taking in mind, I am like 15 years younger, but at the same time, I mean, it's like I said in my video that I put on social media last night. The combination of I smoked cigarettes for 20 years. I quit last year cold turkey doing 2 packs a day. And then I went almost a year, and I didn't tell anybody this in the air, but around the holidays, I started smoking again. And leading up into this, between that, a lot of caffeine, eating fast food regularly too, because it's easy, it's cheap, and it's
fast food.
It's fast food, and it's good. I mean, too, depending on what you get. But the combination of all that is more than likely what led to what happened. And I'm not going to hide from it. What I am going to say is that I'm doing my best I'm still going to keep it on my mind so that way it doesn't happen again. I'm trying my best to put it in the rear view, work hard towards getting back to where I was, but at a healthy pace. And there's some things I've had to cut out, and it's amazing when you're not drinking caffeine after a few weeks, really, and you're eating right, like how much more energy you have. Like, I didn't really need all the caffeine that I did to have the energy that I did, because I'm still in my prime, kind of. I mean, not really, because I had but at the same time, like, I'm still kind of in my prime a little bit, I guess. I don't know.
I can tell you I can tell you exactly what your body said to you, because my body said to me twice, once 2 years ago and once last year. Living that fast life and going hard, doing everything you do, which is what you're supposed to do. But that sometimes your body will just say to you, "You fool!"
No, you're right.
And quit.
You're right. And you got to take care of yourself, and it goes not just nutritionally, but mentally and physically as well. I mean, I broke those 3 down last night in the video as well. I mean, there's not much more. I will be honest. Like, I had pre-typed that up. Like, I typed it up because I wanted to make sure I wasn't dragging it out for like 20 minutes and wasting people's time.
Right.
But also wanted to make sure that I put everything in order correctly to where, like, everybody, could feel what was happening. And, that I didn't want to, like, post selfies from the hospital. I'm not the kind of guy that likes to put what I ate for breakfast and do all this stuff. I'll put the good times up there. If I haven't seen a friend in a while, or, some family member or something, we'll take a selfie and put it up there. And, I have those good times. But I don't like dwelling on stuff, and that's another thing too that I learned there as well, because stress and how you handle it is another way of how this happened as well. So you got to take care of yourself, brother, and I'll be the first one to admit I wasn't doing the greatest at it, but the king of the one-liners is back. The sports senseis are back.
Yep.
And we are not done, because there was one thing before we went off the rails. LeBron was on the tip of our tongues. As I was just saying that one of the best series matchups that we can see in the playoffs, not during the regular season, but what we've seen in the past, I'd say half decade, probably close to a decade now, between his time with the Cavaliers as well. LeBron going against Steph.
Yes.
In the Golden State Warriors. I mean, the Golden State Warriors and the Lakers to be a 6-7 matchup. And to
Who saw this coming? Who saw this coming?
I don't know. Are we are now on the Brian Snow Show. We have transition.
No, we're not. I pressed the wrong button. I pressed the wrong button. I am not good with buttons. you know what? I got to do this for myself.
You're fired
from pressing
to yourself.
For me, because I pushed the wrong button.
Snowman, you fire yourself. We don't have a show. I need you to get it together, brother.
You're fired. You're fired. Wait. Hold on. I got a bet. I got a better one. I played this. I played this one on. I played this one already, but just when you think I had. Wait, where'd it go? I can't see. Oh, hell. I'll play this.
Bring the ads.
Sick.
I would like to read an ad. So yes.
Wait a minute. I found it. Just when you thought I got it together. You fool! Yeah. And just a moment ago, pressing the wrong screen, I just took a big, fat, juicy. And now a selection from the Wonder Bread Choir entitled Brian Snow is Completely Off Today. Yeah, I got it all together.
Why the you lying? Why you always lying?
Yeah, I was getting down, man. I can't even remember the last time I threw some moves out. Snowman, watching me in the bottom camera, like, yo, he is breaking down. We are having a fantastic Mother Father Friday. Welcome back, Fanatic.
I'll roll it again. What the hell?
Why the you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my gosh. Stop lying. Always lying to me. You lying so much. You making it hard for me. Yeah.
I gotta calm down before I have another stroke.
Don't have another stroke.
No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, yeah, I do need to calm down. But
you know what? Let's both calm down. Let's take a break, and when we come back, we will dive into sports. That's a promise. Back after this.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
I'm in another lane, I'm a different breed. I'm everything you can never be. I'm next level. Next level.
Thursday nights are wrestling night on CSTV. Tune in every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Pacific to see all the amazing next-level pro wrestling stars on Thursday Night Throwdown on CSTVNow.com and the CSTV app on your Roku device.
Hey, y'all. Snowman here. Catch me, Cole Johnson, Wise El Jefe, and the usual cast of characters as we bring it to you every Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern. It's called Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson, and it's right here on CSTV and CSTVNow.com. Join us, won't you?
One of the great things about ordering meals from Mother of Macros is that you can do it from the comfort of your own home. Click the national or local delivery link to access the menu, and we'll ship the meals right to your door. We understand you won't always have time to plan, shop, prepare, and cook to provide healthy nutrition for your family, so the process is simple and saves you hours. We know you're busy, so our meals are professionally prepared and packaged. You only need to heat them up and enjoy. We provide macro-balanced, delicious meals chock full of fresh, local ingredients with none of the stuff you don't want to eat. Plus, our menu changes every week, keeping your taste buds wanting more. We take care of your meals so you can worry about everything else on your list. Mother of Macros.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like the High Five Strangers guy. Game-winning interception. First down. Just a nice, solid tackle. If you're in arm's length, you will be swapping skin with this extrovert. You see, he knows SeatGeek got him a great deal on tickets, so he can focus on what he does best, smacking palms. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
Oh, heavens. I was laughing during the entire break.
I didn't get to do my welcome. The Snowman.
What?
Next commercial break, you got to give me the intro back so I can. We just talked about it.
Emotional damage.
Careful.
Whoa! No, I'm good. All
right.
Hey,
Let's get to the XFL championship.
That was great.
While we try, let's try to get things back to normal if we ever figure out what the hell normal is.
I thought you just said let's cry to get things back to normal because that's the road we're heading on right now.
Man, I was crying. I was crying, laughing the entire break.
Oh,
all right. And the
Woo.
feedback zone is the reason. Start here and then here. You get the CD is getting you a leisure suit. And
there
then
was something that Sick put in there that he put in there for me to read. We got to find it. The
yeah,
old fart garb. I remember that's the biggest thing I remember from what he said in there. I was like, I'm looking forward to reading this because with the glasses and everything, if I bring the glasses down to here, let me bring the glasses down to here.
You sure?
Yeah.
There you go, right here.
The antics of Drew Willingham is brought to you by Slap Monkey Garbs, the supplier of Mr. Willingham's old fart attire. We are off the rails on this fantastic Friday. Tears have been flowing out of my eyes like in laughter.
Heavens. Yours. Oh my gosh.
For those of you listening via WQEE for the first time, we promise this is definitely an intro to much more laughter that you will see in the future.
Yes. Okay, there's a button that I need to push. I'm gonna find the right one.
Every time we have the brick background, it's like it makes me think of she's a brick house. Yeah. We go from backdrop to brick house. Yeah.
That one's for you, Cole. Okay, which way do you want to go? Do you want to go XFL or you want to stick with the NBA? I'm giving winner's choice.
I definitely want to get to the XFL, but there's one I do want to talk a little bit more NBA.
All right.
Because based on that previous series, we were just talking about LeBron and the Grizzlies. There's big news coming out of Memphis with,
No
at
more
first the
Dylan
whole
Brooks.
fake report about not bringing Brooks back. They
Mhm.
fired their head coach after having the best winning percentage of the season that he's had in his tenure in Memphis.
Mm.
He has been, it's not been Ja Morant that's been the total savior of this freaking franchise.
No,
Like,
it
you
hasn't.
just got rid of that coach who there's going to be a team out there that's going to be lucky to get him because with
Mhm.
how he turned things around in Memphis, there's going to be a team getting pretty much a lottery pick this offseason for
Yep.
that head coaching spot. And I hope he comes to Washington.
Mm.
You want him to go to Chicago, I know.
No, actually, I don't. But here's the question: will he fit in Washington? And if that's the case, what would his role be with the Washington Bullets?
I don't think he can fit any worse than the previous coaching we've had since Doug Collins, the turn of the century, brother. So I think it's going to work out just
I think
fine.
it's gonna work out also. Also, Joel Embiid is your MVP for the 2022-23 season. Your thoughts on that?
For those of you like my boy Tyrone Montgomery Jr., the Legacy Maker Sports Network,
Mhm.
I can only imagine. Like I said, I've been a ghost of social media, but I know he's a Philadelphia 76ers fan, and I bet you the moment that news came out, I bet you he said something. And knowing my man
did.
Snowman here, I bet you he said something too. But
we said a couple
I
things.
knew it. I knew it.
And you know the best part? We laughed at both of them. All right, because I thought the MVP would be Nikola Jokic, but that is not to say, and I will never say Joel Embiid has not balled since he's been in the league. I will never ever say that. I just thought, with Jokic's performance early in the playoffs, that he would get his third consecutive MVP. But I will also say that Embiid did deserve his MVP honor because last year he felt like he was robbed of the MVP because Jokic got it a second consecutive year. And yes, Tyrone and I playfully had a fight about it and went back and forth about it. But he and I are always kidding around with each other anyway.
I know. But see, I'm not a fan of like, we messed it up last year, let's make it up this year type of deal, because especially when your numbers aren't as great as they were the previous season, in some aspects. This has been historically proven, and there's been other times where like I can't remember which season it was that I think LeBron got one because somebody got one the year before that, and they're making up for it, and he ended up getting back. I can't remember the exact deal. It's been a while now, and plus my mind is still kind of scrambled with everything that's gone on.
Right.
Still getting back together. I at least got to give myself a little bit of credit there. But when I think about everything, and I put it all in perspective, that we had the whole Ja Morant situation with IG and all that stuff to even get to the playoffs after that, with all the media heat that was coming from there and losing sponsorship, throwing millions of dollars away for that coach to hone that team to get the type of finish they got. I mean, they did get upset by a 7 seed in the Lakers. We didn't see that coming. And, you and I were talking smack about LeBron getting to the playoffs and getting exited in the first round. I at least was giving the Lakers credit that they were going to get to the playoffs. And even as much hatred as you were saying on several episodes of our show, as we were in the beginning stages of this show,
more than several.
You definitely were giving. Now, I still give LeBron the hatred, but I was still being honest, saying he's going to make it to the playoffs, and I saw him getting to the West, to the semis. Okay, because we're in the semis now. Past this point was a huge question mark, and now that we are tied 1-1 in that series with the Golden State, there's still some big question marks there, because if Golden State comes and plays the way that they did last night, the next 3 games is over.
It's done. It's done. And they need to play. The Warriors need to play with the passion they played with last night if they want to steal 1, if not 2, from Los Angeles in Los Angeles. Now, the question is, should Golden State win game 3? Are they going to take their foot off the pedal, or are they going to be greedy and try to get both of them Saturday and Monday in Los Angeles.
They had a well-oiled machine last night. I mean, if Looney can contribute the way he did, Jordan Poole was actually doing well on the boards as well, and Klay Thompson having his shot back. I mean, that was
Klay
the
Thompson.
biggest difference,
With his
especially in
dad
game
in the
one.
house.
Yeah, with game one, that was the biggest difference of them not winning the game, in my opinion. I didn't honestly watch enough of game 6 and 7 from the last series to give an opinion on it. I watched game 7, but I didn't watch. But I remember the stat line saying game 6, his numbers were bad as well. So when I think about all that, I know that he is a key piece. He's like Steph Curry is the star of the team, but Klay Thompson's one of the pillars. You best believe.
Yeah, he is.
When I think about that, we got great basketball there. I mean, to even have the Knicks this far into the playoffs after as much turmoil as they've gone under since, pretty much for the last 2 decades of playing bad basketball, at least past 15 years.
Very bad basketball.
And now seeing them getting this far in the playoffs, Snowman, how do you feel? Let me ask you a question. How do you feel about seeing the New York Knicks this deep in the playoffs?
Surprised in a way, but they had to break through the clouds some kind of way. They had to, because there's been, as you said, so much turmoil with the New York Knicks. And for them to finally get the young pieces that they needed, because remember, they had a shot to get Kevin Durant, passed on him, which turned out to be a good move. Had a shot to get Donovan Mitchell, passed on him. That turned out to be a good move. They're going with the coach that they believe in. And remember, once upon a time, Tom Thibodeau was an assistant coach with the New York Knicks. So he's familiar with the Knicks culture before his success with the Celtics and later his success with the Chicago Bulls. But Thibodeau is a Knick. All right. For 6 years, he was an assistant coach with the New York Knicks. Now he's the head man. But the consistency has got to be there also, especially now in the playoffs. And he can recall on his time with the Bulls, when they were not consistent, they got beaten.
Yes.
They got beaten twice. And I'm going back to 2011. They got beaten twice by the Atlanta Hawks in a game that they wound up winning in 6 games, and it should have been only 5. And he knows that. He knows that because he said himself that he's married to the game. He's married to his job, which is as a head coach. You got to get the right rotation now, because now you're going into enemy territory. You are going into enemy territory in Miami in a rivalry that's very familiar to a lot of old school basketball fans. Remember 1997, Heat and the Knicks?
Yes.
Remember 1999?
The Garden,
pulled that one out in a 5th game thriller. Thank you, Allen Houston. You're going into enemy territory now, and you've got to steal one. You want to keep the Garden open. If you're the Knicks, you're the higher seed. You want to keep the Garden open. You allowed Miami to steal one from you when they had no business stealing one from you. The Knicks were in control of that game. They led by as many as 13. Now you have to go into Miami, and you got to focus. The focus has got to be there for the Knicks. You can't go in with any kind of fear, because you're facing an undermanned Miami ball club. They are very undermanned. But at the same time, this is the same undermanned Miami ball club that came into Madison Square Garden and in the second half punched you in the mouth.
They did.
And stole game 1.
And, when we look at, we got the Knicks and the Heat, 76ers and Celtics as well. I mean, Celtics are no surprise, because they've been on the come up for the past, for quite some time now. I mean,
right.
And of course, the 76ers, we were just talking about Ty and his love for Joel Embiid. I just know my man Tyrone Montgomery for being around him for now almost 5 years, a legacy maker. I know that with him getting the MVP news, I bet you he was one of the first ones to break it faster than Adam Schefter. And I bet you, and I don't even know the order, but somewhere in there, and Snowman confirmed it, that he actually commented on that post, because I've seen Snowman. Snowman loves, and Snowman, I gotta give some credit to my guy's legacy maker on this one. Okay, you like to be a troll sometimes with some of the things that are posted.
Whatever are you talking about,
Snowman?
What?
When it comes to some things that my man Rob Johnson of the Legacy Maker Sports Network, 2nd place in the Inner Sports Debate Vault of Fame inductee, you talk about Rob Johnson today, you jump on there, and I know with that Joel Embiid stuff that you were not happy about it, and you had to make a comment And at
What
some
they
point,
say?
when I make my way back to social media and I actually pay attention to what the father is going on, I'm going to look for this time, the beginning of May, and I'm going to go to Tyrone Montgomery Jr.'s page, and I'm going to look and see what Snowman had to troll about on that post.
What they say?
I don't know, but I know you said something. I'm going to go find out.
I said nothing out of pocket. Nothing. You're not buying
Out of pocket.
I mean, what did I say? What did I say? I didn't say anything out of pocket. Yet.
I'm gonna throw you in a pocket. Like,
wait. Okay.
he had to clear his throat.
I have to. Because I'm gonna try something my kids try with me and it doesn't work. Well, hell, I may as well push the button now because whatever question I ask, they're gonna respond with this.
Trays.
Cole Johnson.
You know who put that
Genius.
together?
Absolutely. Genius that has had me tearing up.
I figure I better push that button now because it's better hearing that than hearing
Modem
or
you're fired.
Now, Snowman, before we go to the XFL or commercial break or wherever you want to take us next, when it comes to basketball, I do have a question to ask you. We have another playoff series that we haven't discussed yet, and with that being the Nuggets and the Suns,
Nuggets
with
in
Denver.
four. Yeah, discussion
in
over.
4. Okay, because I was going to ask you, do they take Game 3 today?
They're gonna blow them out.
But you definitely answered that.
They're gonna push the plunger and blow them to smithereens. I mean, why did the Suns sign Kevin Durant anyway? When he and Booker are your only 2 scorers and they play no kind of defense. Listen, Phoenix should have stolen Game 2 nights ago. They should have swiped Game 2 in Denver. They led by 3 at the end of 3. But then Nikola Jokic did what Akeem Olajuwon has done before him, Michael Jordan has done, and all the greats do. They demand basketball. And he punished the Suns for 12 minutes.
Yes.
He punished the Suns for 12 minutes. He dropped 39 and 16. DeAndre Ayton is a punk. Because he did not stand up to Jokic and demand the ball in return with his array of moves.
Yep.
He did not demand the ball in return. Take a break, and we'll take you to the XFL Championship in San Antonio, Texas after this.
This is Brett, and you're watching Shady Sports Network. Tune in, hit that like button.
You might wonder, what do these guys do? Player signing announcements. I never in a million years thought you would actually come on to break this news. So without further ado, go ahead and tell everybody what happened today.
Yeah, man. I just had to work out with the Cincinnati Bengals. Signing me right out.
Without further ado, I'd like to announce that, I'll be taking my talents to Salina Liberty.
This just in, the Major League of Football is reportedly collapsing, unable to pay hotel room bills, with players being kicked out of their rooms and hotel managers asking them to leave voluntarily without issue.
And then we got Lions wide receiver Williams is debuting this week as a starter. That's something to look at as far as the eye test goes. And then another one on the eye test is Mostert might be coming back to Miami. and we can see if he has a role in this offense, and see if he can be viable for the next couple weeks coming and help us in the playoffs, and possibly towards a championship. That would be very nice, because he's sitting on my bench right now.
The original Think Drink is back. Level up with proven ingredients formulated to crush your competition. No gimmicks, no jitters, no messing around. Just high potency results that keep you moving day or night. There's a new nerd in town, and we came to play. Nerd Focus, smarter than energy.
Here we go. Down the stretch we come here.
Snowman, you did it again.
What?
Where is our intro back to the show?
You moved it.
I didn't touch it because I had something mathematically planned to say twice, and I didn't get to say it at all.
Well, then say the darn thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a show that hosts an episode within another episode of Shady Sports Network, the episode inside of Sports Sensei's episode. We are back for the Sports Senseis Unleashed.
Thank you. Thank you. A lot of construction going on as we're putting a lot of stuff back together here. The XFL Championship is a week away. The Arlington Renegades
4-6
XFL Championship. How the hell did that happen? How? 4 and here, like dog on microphone. 4-6, as you said, on the year, and they're playing for a title.
When you're in a division with the Brahmas and a team like the Orlando Guardians that can only get one victory,
and the Roughnecks were supposed to just walk all over them in the South Division Championship because they had home field advantage.
I think people confuse the Houston Roughnecks with the Houston Gamblers, Snowman. Okay, this isn't the USFL. They haven't merged yet. If they are going to merge at all or whatever, even though I feel like we've discussed, I think we talked about it. It was either last episode or the episode before, where I said that I feel like that the XFL is the AEW to WWE's NFL. It was like the biggest comparison that I had.
You did.
I would prefer the XFL to stay its own separate entity, but I would love the USFL to be like a minor leagues for the NFL. So that way they have some type of feeder sister.
I would love the USFL to draw some fans.
That too.
Especially with them having games in a place that hosts an NFL team, talking about Ford Field in Detroit, Michigan.
Now we are about 10 days away from the actual XFL Championship. It's not this weekend, it's next weekend.
It's next weekend in San Antonio, next Sunday in San Antonio.
As we get closer, and I've been saying it all year long, and I'm so glad that on our return episode that I can say this. I was right about the DC Defenders.
You were right all season long. You were right all season long. And I mean, we just basically coined it the DC Defenders Invitational.
You did. And I did say that I didn't think they were going to go undefeated. They were going to have one loss. People thought I was mother, father, and crazy.
And who would have thought the Orlando Guardians would give them their
only win of the season? That was just what I was about to say exactly. Who would have thought? Because I was calling the one deficit, and the one team that I was telling you I thought it was going to be was against St. Louis Battlehawks.
I thought it would be St. Louis.
Yeah, just like I said.
I absolutely thought it would be St. Louis.
I thought they would split it, and then their rematch would happen in the playoffs to determine who goes to the championship game.
Yeah,
because they're in the same division, so they would had to have faced off against each other like last week. During the division matchup, and it would determine who would be playing next week. And I still thought that the DC Defenders would have done it. Right. They would have lost the second game of the season against them, and that would have been their motivational factor to win last week's game. Right. Didn't happen that way. And they ended up facing the team that they absolutely mother, father, and destroyed, with that being the Seattle Sea Dragons. 37-21.
They blew them to smithereens. And we got speaking of the XFL, we have an announcement. The Offensive Player of the Year, and you're going to smile with this name, Jordan Ta'amu from the DC Defenders. Ta'amu helped lead the Defenders to a 9-1 regular season record and a berth in the XFL championship game. Ta'amu finished the regular season 143 for 229, 1,894 yards, 14 touchdowns with just 3 interceptions. His interception total was the lowest among XFL quarterbacks with more than 150 passing attempts. So congratulations to Jordan Ta'amu, the XFL's inaugural Offensive Player of the Year, and well-deserved. He played lights out this year.
He did. He definitely did. And it was great seeing the 2-quarterback system. You know, Derek King's got some great talent as well, but it gives a different flow to the offense that we're not accustomed to seeing on a regular basis. Teams have tried the 2-quarterback system before. It's mainly used in college. We don't see it that much in the NFL. And the times that they have tried to do this whole Wildcat 2-quarterback system, whether it be Tebow in the past or with other quarterbacks, it hasn't quite worked out. Team's favor, and to actually see a team have the success that they did, but also see former Mr. Bountygate Greg Williams, the defensive head coach, shift things around and have a great defense over there that's playing smart defensive football, isn't doing anything shady. They're doing it
right.
He's making it work. Okay. He's making it work out here in these streets. This team's 9-1, 10-1 now, and they're going to the championship.
Now, the very important question is, will the Beer Snake accompany the Defenders and their fans to San Antonio?
You know it, Snowman. It has to. It has to.
It
is a tradition that has got them this far in the season.
And last weekend was the longest Beer Snake I saw at Audi Field.
Yes.
They started that early. And by the time they retired the Beer Snake, it was at the top of the stadium. You know, one thing I wonder, and I will always wonder, and I want to see what they do with this XFL championship game. Will they be able to sell the house out?
We talked about that last episode, I believe, as well. And that's going to be tough because now that we actually know who the team they're going to match up against, if this was actually DC Defenders in Houston Roughnecks, we'd have a shot. Arlington Renegades, who are 4-6, and you saw their home games and the type of turnout that they were having during their 4-6 illustrious season. Okay, now 5-6, I guess you want to say, because they won last week. Still 4 wins. And you want to think that they have a chance of bringing all their fans over and getting hype about this? No, we're going to see more DC Defender fans in this stadium throughout that broadcast. And they're going to have to shift things around to prevent a blackout. Because
I hope that whole lower bowl in the Alamo Dome gets full at the very least. If you can't sell out the house, and the Alamo Dome hosts 65,000 people, sell out the lower bowl.
You know, they're going to have to
sell out the lower bowl.
This is why I like the fact that even though it's not Vince McMahon running it, it's still someone within a WWE background that helped set this up. So probably pre-planning going into this, because WWE events, when they can't sell out the entire event, or at least in the seating where cameras are going to be primarily positioned for the event, they'll move fans from other seats, even if it's out of their price range, into the camera sections to fill those seats. So that way, when they're filming, going live or whatnot, you've got fans in those seats and you don't have a blackout. Like, you can actually see fans and see excitement throughout the arena, rather than seeing a blackout and say, oh, well, there's not many people at this game. Why am I watching it on TV? You know?
Yeah. Well, I thought it would be the place I thought they would hold the championship would be St. Louis, because the rabid fan base in St. Louis is there. And it seemed like the Battlehawks were on their way to the championship with the way they open up. I'm looking at the attendance figures here, and except for St. Louis in all of their home games, there's barely been 12 to 18,000 people. And with Vegas, they have the lowest attendance because of the size of the field, because where they played was actually a baseball field. But listen to these attendance numbers from the Dome. Game 1, 38,310, and then 35,868, 35,167, 33,142, and 33,034, all in St. Louis. all in St. Louis, which tells me they're going to have even more fans next year at the Dome if they have this kind of turnout in year one and St. Louis barely misses the playoffs. Imagine if the Battlehawks get better and they open the whole place up and sell it out.
No, you're right.
All
And
St. Louis can do, even though they were 7-3, they were denied a playoff berth, which tells me XFL has a few things to tweak in that. We'll discuss that in a minute. They got some things to get together. If they get themselves together and they have an even better season next year, imagine if the XFL championship was held in St. Louis and how many people would be there.
Well, if someone who looks at analytics, stats, and does everything they can to better themselves each day, and I've been saying this name a lot. I had to retire Thomas Edward Patrick Brady II. So now it is brought on to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is my favorite athlete / star to bring up and talk about, especially when talking about the one XFL. When it comes to analytics and statistics, and Snowman just laid that beautiful foundation of a plan of their attendance out for just this 2022 season. Well, 2023 now. I'm stuck in the past. 2023 season. When you think about everything that you just brought, and I guarantee you that there's no other team that has stats as good as that as far as attendance goes.
Right.
And that team didn't even make it into the playoffs.
They didn't make the playoffs.
They didn't make the playoffs. You have got to bring that championship game there next season. One, to help grow the fan base of the XFL, not just for that city, but for people who are watching it on TV. So when they're watching an actual game, they see a packed stadium, because you're going to get fans of both teams in the championship, as well as St. Louis Battlehawks fans if that team is not in the championship game, just because they are excited to have football now in May.
They're excited to have football back in St. Louis.
Yeah,
but they're going to support it anyway.
USFL doesn't have an actual St. Louis team, do they? I don't think they do. Okay.
No, they don't.
Houston's got the two teams, there with USFL and XFL, and then of course NFL. But I don't know why I was thinking that. But when it comes to St. Louis, they've been itching for a team ever since the Rams left and went back to LA. So when you think about all that in perspective, like whether the NFL gives them a team or the XFL gives a team, the fans are going to be excited. They're going to come out and watch no matter what.
Yeah.
So whether it's the St. Louis Battlehawks that are in that championship game, I feel like I'm with you. Like when it comes to the championship game situation, if they would have relocated to St. Louis, they probably would have a better turnout than what they're going to have next weekend.
Yeah. And the point that Chris Dietz argues is that they're competing with the St. Louis Cardinals, and the Cardinals are going to win every time. He has a point there. But I also think that both events would sell out, because and it's going to depend on the time that the Cardinals have their first pitch and the time that the championship game kicks off. Because if the Cardinals play in the afternoon, you can schedule the XFL championship game in St. Louis for the evening and even tweak it a little bit. Instead of it being 7:30, you can make it 8 o'clock, and people will flock to the Dome because it's nearby and go see the XFL championship game. And speaking of championship game, welcome back, Drew Willingham, our sensei. Back to the fray. We're running out of time, but I promise next week we're still going to laugh and we're still going to talk more sports. So, Drew, how do you feel to get this one in the book?
I feel great. Thank you, Fanatic Feedback Zone, for the kind words. Thank you, Snowman, for literally, besides my family members, being my number one supporter and being there with me. Encouraged me to take a break, even though I was already going to do that. There's no way that I was going to have that event and be back that upcoming Friday. There's just no way that was going to happen. In my heart, I wanted to, but I couldn't.
Yeah, but your body wasn't ready.
No,
it's like what I went through last May.
And to be honest, like it's not there yet. Like the fatigue's still there, and not quite as bad as it was back then, but it's still a growing process. And that's why I take it in stride. But more days like this with my man Snowman, and the laughter heals all. And this is what's been great and a beautiful thing about today. For those of you listening on WQEE, thank you all for the opportunity. Thank you there for everything as well. And to those of you out there, for the supporters, not just me, but the Snowman, hit my man Snowman up on Cash App, Tall Man Dr. K. Get him and his family lifted up to get this Snowman multimedia happening in a greater place because he owes me a helicopter ride out to his new house.
I do. I owe you that, and I owe you a baseball game.
My man.
I owe you a baseball game. Thank you, everybody. God bless you. We'll see you next week.